welcome to tonight and to the 2025 launch of the Head of the Outback. And for all of those that I haven't met, there's only a few of you that I haven't met already. I'm David Council, I'm a rower in Barcaldine, part of the Vikings and part of the organised committee. First of all, I just want to say thanks to all of our sponsors. I don't know what's more amazing, you know, the enthusiastic and generous and almost immediate support that we've had from all of our sponsors today has just been fantastic. It's really moving us along rapidly along some of the illustrious goals that we're setting for our association. And I don't know whether to sort of say whether the sponsors are fantastic and compare them to all of our supporters and our donators and volunteers and all the other people that behind the scenes are making little things happen for us so quickly and leaving a mark on our tremendous initiative and what we're trying to achieve. One of the things I just want to say is that the head of the Outback's on again this year. It continues to grow, and I hope that relative to all the other regattas that you attend, the one thing that was always on the mind of particularly Murray when we first got going, it was to be a fun regatta. It was to make people get together from their various clubs and not have, you know, the red tent and the green tent and the blue tent down the way there, and we're not really talking to each other, and we might even, we're definitely not lending oars. And things like that, and I reckon to date we've managed to keep it fun. Lots of short races and lots of fun for people that go out to the Outback and go rowing with us. Lots of short races, lots of long races, lots of bloody dubious handicaps.
No, bang on.
And lots of close finishes. And so I say to you again this year, for all those people that represent various other clubs apart from the Vikings, if you're bring 60 club members or 16 or even just 6, expect some great times racing. I reckon that one of the great things about that we learnt last year was our orphan program, and no doubt that will become a really key part of our regatta always going forward. And so, you know, if you come with 6 rowers, we'll give you 2 of about the same standard, and you'll have a very competitive crew, and you'll have a great time trying to win a race. You'll spend a lot of time on the bank, just like we did with Chris and Helen last year, and Claire and other types from River City and a few Longreach rowers, and I think we won a big race there. In the green. Of course, I've got some bad news about this year's regatta. It's going to be a lot harder to win. We've got another 10 years, another 10 crews coming. I think we've got really good bites from 2 crews in New Zealand. We're pretty confident they'll turn up. We've got crews coming out of Sydney. We've got orphans coming from every state.
DC, there'll be an Ancient Mariners crew.
There'll be an Ancient Mariners crew. And we can expect this year, last year we had 1 crew from the country, maybe nearly 2, probably 2, probably would be the right thing to say there. We had 5 of us for the long race. River City helped us up there. No, there's 3 River Cities. Yeah, righto. We're going to probably have this year probably between 5 to, I'm going to say between 4 and 6 country rowing clubs joining us and competing against us. They're young, they're enthusiastic, and let's hope we make it bloody difficult because the handicap is definitely on their side. Now, one of the other things about coming out to the Outback is I've got to mention as someone that lives out in that part of the world is that we're open for business, and there's a lot of other things you can do from rowing if you are thinking about coming out to our part of the world. And earlier this year, you probably saw on the ABC News or whatever channel you're on, basically every little town and every homestead south of Longreach and west of Longreach, all the way down to the New South Wales border and out to the NT border, got wiped out by a massive flood. It kind of works that, when you live in a bloody, you live next to the river, because that's the only part of the world where I don't think they've got the artesian basin out there. So when the settlers came, they built their houses and their homesteads and their towns in the river basins. You get a big flood, guess what happens? And And so I noticed with all the people that visit me and come out to me in that part of the world, they ask me, are any of the roads open? Well, Toby's just been out there, and I would dare say, as he will attest, that I can tell you now, the Outback's open for business, every road is functional, and all our sights and sounds and things that are able to be done out there, you can go and do them. So if you are thinking of running the Outback, talk to your friends about sort of like going sideways on the way home or going sideways on the way out there and going and seeing some of the things. You know, for instance, you know, we've got the Queenslander of the Year, is David Elliott. He's putting together a world-class dinosaur museum up in Winton. There are other things that might appeal to some of us up there in Winton, but I reckon that dinosaur museum and the story of David Elliott, when you go and see that sort of thing, is a reason. You know, you might remember that more than the racing. You know, in Longreach we've got the Qantas Museum, which is worth having a good look at. You've got to ask your question: how do we get the Qantas Museum in that part of the world? It started because we had a lot of people. We were once kings and grass castles out there. It's how the wool industry got going. You've got to remember, at the turn of the last century, a third of Northern Australian people worked in the wool industry. So, and our part of the world was very big in wool, and so the stockmen that opened up the west, there's a really good museum, Hall of Stockmen's Hall of Fame, there to have a look at. And the other thing that you've got to remember about our part of the world is that a fellow called Banjo Patterson wrote our unofficial national anthem, Waltzing Matilda. You know, we sing it when we're overseas, when we're young, when we're drunk, all that sort of stuff. You know, and it almost got a run. It's a bit like Joe for PM, really. But it did get a run as a you know, it's about someone stealing sheep. I mean, for goodness sake, bloody guy's a criminal. I'm a sheep owner. But one of the things about Banjo Patterson is, you know, if you go out there, make sure you do some camping or pull up along the sides of the roads. Don't stay in the motels. Get out there into the bush and light a fire on the side of the road and boil a billy, throw a gum leaf in it, and recognise when you look across the vista, you know, especially if you go to Winton or somewhere where you can get a little bit of light and look across and know that if you fly at about 250 feet high in an aeroplane all the way from Longreach to Karratha on the other side, you won't hit anything. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. It's just that perspective. And that's why, you know, Banjo Patterson wrote the lines where he'd seen the vision splendid of the sunlit plains extended. And he wrote that in that poem, Clancy the Overflow, which was written about people in our part of the world. Okay, one of the things that I don't need to do is to read from the Bible of rowing to tell you all about the good things about rowing. And as we go forward as the organisation, as the Outback Rowing Association, one of the things that is occurring is we are awakening our rural communities to the benefits of rowing. And the good news that I can tell you is that all the local, state, all the local governments out there, the councils, the regional councils, are jumping on board. It's a good thing. Early days yet, but we're really starting to awaken to what rowing can do in their small communities, and so that's why this weekend, for example, we're going to, I'm sure once a few of the leaders out of the Bellon Regional Council come and see what we're doing, they're going to start throwing a lot of resource at us. Already we've got Longreach putting in a really decent pontoon for us. We've got Vark Oil pulling their finger out and developing up the ski park a fair bit better. And St George is going to have quite a story to tell in the years to come. I think it's going to be, whether it's a learn to row, a recruitment process or what. And I mean, we're open to any opinion, and it'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend when we're out there as to what St George becomes. There's a lot of rural towns living on the rivers in southern Queensland that are going to deliver value to us. Of course, we have much infrastructure already. Murray, I hope I don't steal any magic from anything that you say, but we already have 8 really good aids. And that's another thing I'd say, if you come out to row with us and you borrow one of our boats, you're going to be rowing a great boat. And that's one of the selling points to all those bush people that once probably grew up rowing in bush boats. You're going to jump in a Kevlar boat with a bloody cleaver oar and realise these damn things, how flash they are nowadays, and have a great walk down memory lane if nothing else. We've got 8 8s, we've got 6 4s, we've got about 25 sculls, we've got a couple of pairs now, doubles, We've got no scullers, by the way, just write that one down. We've got 3 trailers already. And of course, one of the things that everyone says to us out there, David, do we need to build you a bloody rowing shed? You know, in all these different towns. And what I can say to you is that if you build it on the riverbank in our part of the world, where you can actually walk from the shed down to the river or to the water's edge, I have a bad habit of floating away about once every 5 years in flood. So, whereas you build it that far back that the boats are all safe, it becomes storage. So, but it doesn't matter. We will find ways to go forward to keep and look after our infrastructure. And one of the things about all the infrastructure, and that's a big number that we've just given out there, Murray, isn't it? Of all the gear that we've got already. One thing I would say is be confident that if it ends up in a country town, it's not going to end up stopping the sun shining on the grass underneath the lid of the shed. We will make sure as a rowing association that all of our gear gets looked after and is moved from people that don't want to use it any longer to people that want to use it. And we've had some great bites already, and we'll be looking after our infrastructure as we go forward. So to wrap up, what I'd say is we are well on track for many of our illustrious goals in outback rowing. We've got some school kid rowing programs that are about to emerge. We've got we're starting to we're building rowing clubs and people interested in rowing in the various country towns and working out how to engage them. We've got a great head of the outback that's growing. We're building our reputation as an organisation within the rowing circles, particularly the higher echelons. They're very important. Rowing Australia, Rowing Queensland, in their corridors, we've got a reputation. We're building on that, and we will continue. Given that we've just given bloody Toby the bloody password to our Instagram account, we will now be building our reputation as an international thing that you should do in your life as a rower. Is to come to Outback Queensland and have a row and see our part of the world. And I reckon as a Queenslander, that's a great thing to be able to say and be part of that whole trend that's going to occur. So
I think that's going to work with Toby giving a bit up.
Oh yeah, well so in summary, already this year, much has been achieved behind the scenes as we approach the business end of the rowing calendar for Western Queensland. I just want to say thanks to all of you for celebrating and being with us here tonight to celebrate Head of the Outback 2025. And I look forward to seeing you all on a dirty creek somewhere out there in Western Queensland later on this year. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming.